and welcome to this episode of Roll for Sanity. Today we're going to be talking about Pandemic, a game that most of you already know and love, but some house rules to kind of change it around a little bit. Little story behind this, Pandemic was one of the first games that got me back into gaming, into modern board games. Watched a couple videos, reviews, played it, showed it to everybody that I knew, tried to get more gamers with it. Worked great. Everybody loved the game. Then Pandemic Legacy came out, and I thought, well, gotta get some practice in, so I downloaded the app, and that's when I learned that I'd been playing the game completely wrong for about 2.5 years. But during that time, those 2.5 years, we had a great time playing. So, gonna show you how that works. And the cool thing about the way that I play is these expansions that come for the game. It really helps out. You're able to add in mutations, and mutations in the hinterland, the lab, or whatever combination of chaos that you want to put in and have fun with. That the normal Pandemic game, it's hard enough just a standard game. So it really brings out these expansions and puts them on the table more often, and might even bring just a Pandemic game back to the table. I don't know how my expansion is going to work with Iberia and Cthulhu. They're just too new. I haven't quite adapted them over a little bit, but I'll get to that. And so let's see how this works. Okay, so let's talk here about the difference in my home rules versus the regular standard rules. First up is the setup. For the most part, the game's going to play just like Pandemic. I mean, if you know Pandemic, this isn't going to be anything groundbreaking for you. But during the setup, so these are your Epidemic cards. And so if you're playing with 6 Epidemics, which is tough in normal Epidemic or Pandemic, you would put 1 Epidemic on each of these stacks. At which point you shuffle up each one of these, shuffle, 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 and then stack them up all on top of each other. That's how you start a normal game. In my version, it's exactly that, but instead of dividing the player cards into 6 stacks, you divide them into 7 stacks. Place your Epidemic cards on top, shuffle, 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 all the way through, and then stack them with this one without any Epidemics on top. What that does is it gives the players 1 or 2 turns to kind of get a handle on the situation and play the way that it's not quite as chaotic. But that also allows you to, put in, as I said earlier, the virulent strains, the mutations, the hinterlands, the lab, to add chaos that way instead of just random cards. You can kind of tailor it. That's the one major difference. The other major difference is not only you don't have to have a cure to eradicate a disease. So in this setup here, for instance, the medic, first turn, 1, 2, 3 points of movement, 4 cures the red disease, and red is now eradicated. So anytime you draw a red card, it's not building up that stress. You can worry about your black, your yellow, your blues, and move on to the game that way. If it looks like red's going to be okay, maybe you want to try and get everybody gang up on these 3 yellows, because these are going to keep coming back during the game, just like normal Pandemic. The other major difference to the rules that I have is every disease must be eradicated. Finding the cure doesn't win you the game. Every disease cube on the board needs to be eradicated. And that is basically all that it is. It allows you to change things up, play with some different variants, use those expensive expansions that you got, and I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, I hope it brings out some mileage in your game and it brings it to the table. leave some comments. Let me know what you think of it. If you've tried it, if you've ever got a rule wrong on another game, and we'll talk later. Thank you.